Breaks Radio. I am one of your hosts. That is CEO Hayes, and I am joined by, at least three-fourths of the team is here. Bailey will be joining us a little bit later, but first up, we got Miss Mary Almonte. What's going on? That sounds so just enthusiastic. We also got the red wine connoisseur himself, Marquise, in the building. Here we go. Here we go. So, Marquis, I have a question to ask you. So I know you have your wall of sneakers behind you. Like, do you have to pay the nursing home extra to allow you to store your sneakers in the nursing home, or is that like? Oh man. Oh, I know that. Believe me, I know it's coming back. I'm not even worried about it. It'll come. I'll be ready for it. We got a great show planned for you guys today, but unfortunately, we do have to start it on more of a somber note. Unfortunately, the world lost a legend when we lost DMX at the age of 50. We talked a little bit about his health situation last week. It, of course, took a turn for the worse, and DMX is no longer with us. Um, anybody, if you want to start with some kind words, your favorite DMX moment. But I think we would be remiss if we didn't start it. Peace to his family, all of his loved ones, and we lost somebody who was special to the culture. But Mary, I'll come to you first. Yeah, 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 there you go. That's a great way to put it, Marquis. Yeah, the pool table battle. Yeah.
give it to him was on that movie Romeo's Gonna Die. I forgot that. Like that song is like, yo, who else can do a song like that? There is no other artist aside from Busta Rhymes that has that type of that energy, but you really can't compare the two. There's no other rapper that can do what X did. And again, I always said it before, he could have been the greatest rapper alive
Mm.
if he had that opportunity.
X was special because we got to see his flaws. We got to see his imperfections. We got to see the darkness. We got to see so many different sides. And like the same person who would rap about being depressed and going through shit would be the same one, the first one that people would ask to pray in settings like. So X was special. He was unique, and I get what you're saying when you say um, that like when you compared him to Pac, not as an artist, but as what he meant to hip hop, because that was absolutely true. And like what's you guys said it all. There's not much left to be said. Like DMX was amazing, not just a rapper or artist or even a celebrity, just as a person. And the different sides that we've gotten to see with him in like the last year, like to what Mary said, since the verses, like that was to see somebody like the growth, right, from DMX being young and battling shit to like being the old guy who's sitting there. Like I always will remember that scene of him in the verses where he's eating annihilators and like asking everybody like, you want something, like ask, like throwing them around, like, and dancing to Snoop. Like we it was special. And so like that moment is
Yeah.
something special for me to be like, I've literally followed DMX's career the whole fucking time, and like to see that growth and like just the man that he was in every stage of it has been amazing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It, it's sad. Like, and I always say, I don't, have you ever noticed when certain artists die, it always, you can kind of feel it.
Yeah.
Aside from Nipsey and the rest of them, like when Big died, you kind of felt this a storm coming. When Pac died, and I always said, I think at some point after my beautiful dark twisted fantasy, I thought he was kind of going into that he might end up dying kind of thing. You know what I mean? But it's with X, his body. I know that sounded weird, but his body of work and just where he was and everything he went through in that long break, everyone still thought of X. And I remember when he was supposed to have an album coming out, and everybody's like, "Oh shit, yo, X might have an album coming out." Then Swizz and the rest of them like, "We're gonna get this. We're gonna do the production on it." And then you heard that Jay took him to rehab and everything, and then he's back out. And we're always in the back of our minds, always wishing X the best. You know what I mean? Like I always wanted him to just. I want to see him again. I want to hear from him again. So when we heard about the verses and everything else he was going to do, I was excited. And then I think the bath salt song, he's on that too, right? With Swizz Beat produced with Jada,
Oh
Jay,
yeah,
Nas, and
yeah,
Hmm.
him.
yeah.
Yeah, it's a
Yeah.
song called the bath salt song. I need to hear this. You understand what I'm saying? Like that's a Mount Rushmore on one track with Swizz produced. I need to hear more X. I need to hear songs that aren't released. I mean, you know, I hate it's gonna to be like a Prince thing where we just happen to hear material that he has and store it away. But you know, I want his legacy to live on. But I hope so. I hope that people learn from this. Like this is true art. This is true hip hop. You know, let's let this live on, and I hope the young generation appreciates this as well.
Definitely.
Well, I'll tell you two things. One, this album is going to be legendary. And he did get to finish it. They confirmed. So that's I'm waiting for this. But two, what I didn't appreciate honestly, and it's funny you just brought that up, Marquis. And I really hate to refer to the younger people as the young generation or whatever, but I definitely did see a lot of Twitter hate, confusion, insert appropriate word here, of younger people who I guess were not around for. Are you opening now and laters? I'm like, what the?
Nah,
Anyway.
Mom.
uh, no. um, Younger people who basically, weren't around like you just said, Hayes, as we were for his whole evolution. Basically, probably who might have seen Belly, might know, Party Up and his more mainstream songs, and then they're like, yeah, did like so everyone wants to act like they loved DMX now, and it was kind of like you saw some industry greats really shutting these people down, like this is just ignorant. If you don't know, then don't say nothing at all. Like, so I don't know. I really do think we need to get to a point where there is some kind of appreciation for the artists that have paved the way, or at least a pause and a need to educate yourself if you see everyone reacting this way to the loss of someone, rather than immediately assuming people are dick riders, because that's what that was. So that was upsetting for me. But
and that's one
yeah,
thing that separates, and I think that's the difference. Not even to be ageist or whatever, but that from our generation from the new generation. Whereas we had our moments where we were like these old niggas, but we still respected what came before. This generation
exactly.
now has no respect generally for the people that weren't big or major as they were coming up. Like they may know a couple of songs, like you said. They may know a couple of the artists that they influenced, but they don't really know what they meant to us as people. And so, and
Yeah,
that's not even outside. That's just not with music. Like that's generally this generation, this new generation. Fortunately, the generation my kids are a part of don't really have that respect of what came before them. Like hell, look at us.
yeah,
Isley Brothers were had probably 10, 15 platinum albums before any of us came into this planet. But we know their music like it was part of our generation. This new generation doesn't have that.
exactly.
But that's
Exactly. And is
because
this our
we
fault,
have
though?
music.
I
It's
mean,
because we're oversaturated with hip hop, right? With so much, anybody can be an artist now. That's the problem. You don't. It doesn't require instruments. It doesn't require real soul and feel to make music anymore.
well, yes, but here's my thing, right? How did you know of Earth, Wind, and Fire and the Isley Brothers? Your parents, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I think everyone needs to ask themselves, have they done their part in educating their kids and exposing them to the classics of hip hop?
Well, because I don't know if I would introduce my son to some songs about prison sex. I'm just saying. You get what I'm saying? Like there's some songs you kind of
I
don't
mean,
want your
I've
kids to hear.
introduced my daughter to everything, and guess what? It
I mean,
starts
but see, and that's
conversations.
the
This is
thing.
all
Like,
part of the culture.
and Marquis, I get what you're saying with that, but at that same thing, look at how many songs we listened to when we were younger. That now that we know the lyrics, we're like, God damn, our parents let us listen to that shit. Like we think,
Our parents didn't know what we were listening
oh
to.
well, fuck, my
Oh,
parents
mine did.
definitely knew what we were
Well,
listening
your
to.
Yeah,
parents did. Your parents did, yes. That's because your mom listened to it more than you did.
yeah. Well, mine definitely did.
That's
My
what I'm
mom
saying. I
was,
said your mom
yeah,
listened to it more than you did. Yeah. I'm,
yeah.
I'm I'm selective. I let them hear it. Like I let them hear the cursing. There's some things I know that will come up, but at 7, no, I don't want my 7-year-old to hear that. You get what I'm saying?
Well, right, but as they get older, you know what I mean? Like,
Yeah,
I don't necessarily
they're
think
gonna
I
hear
was
it. I'd
like
rather them hear it
letting
from
Bree
me.
hear the horrible version then, but when she got to her teenage years, it
Exactly.
was
That's what
like
I'm saying.
we throwing on some Nas.
Yeah, because I
Like,
want them to hear it from me. You're absolutely right. That's where it comes from. I want them to hear that from me, and so I can explain it. So yeah, that is our fault that we're not explaining. But here's the problem: how many people are true hip hop aficionados? Actually appreciate it, because a lot of people can't explain the difference between a rapper and a lyricist. How many people actually know
but the
True,
true
but
people
artists
who
as far as
are
hip
they
hop is
teaching their
concerned?
but that's
kids?
separate too. Like
That's
that's
the
separate. You
question.
can introduce your children to music from your era and have a respect for it, and not necessarily be the biggest. Oh, this. What's the difference between wordplay and lyricism? Like you don't have. That's not a necessary requirement to introduce people to music. Like what at least what I was talking about or what I was getting at with this is just the introduction to what the music means, not breaking down being able to say
Okay.
this is what makes somebody a great lyricist, but this is the song that means something to us. Now if they ask why and they want to have that conversation, then of course break that down to the level that they can understand it, but you don't necessarily need that to appreciate the music.
No, but like for example, right? My daughter has actually come to me and admitted, like, she knows more than her peers because I put her on to like my era of hip hop. So like she'll hear things that are coming out now and she can bring it back to like what was sampled or where it originated from. And she said no one else that she knows really can do that. So that's a huge part of why this generation doesn't have an appreciation or respect for the music of our generation. We're not doing what our parents did for us.
Yeah. Baylor to
If you don't teach them, they won't know.
Baylor, to catch you up, we were talking about DMX, and then we kind of got into. Mary had mentioned how there were some younger people who mentioned on Twitter how people were dick riding, that nobody really had love for X because they didn't understand the appreciation that we truly did have for DMX. But so that's kind of where we are now, to just kind of catch you up. And we're talking about the younger generation not having the same respect for the generation before them as we did when we were coming up. So just to kind of catch you up there.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I don't really listen to young cats. They don't know. They don't know. They don't know no better. And I didn't necessarily grow up off of hip hop because of my parents. It was just something. I think it was just an environment in general. You know what I mean? Where the people on the block was listening to it. The music was loud outside. They had parties outside,
Right.
house parties. You know what I mean? So and it
But
was
what did
very
your
quiet.
parents listen to?
The Earth, Wind, and Fires and,
Exactly.
and things like that. So I got an appreciation for that. So that's one thing that they did teach me is to respect my elders. You know what I mean? So I guess in a sense, yes. With us, I think because we're in that. I'm 38, so we're kind of like in between. Like we're old enough, like we're old, but we're young enough to understand how the younger generation moves. You know what I mean? Because we are the internet. We're the beginning of the internet era.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So it's like we adapt to what we're still adapting to it, and we're still learning. They just cut. The younger generation just caught on quick. But for someone to say that we didn't appreciate DMX, at one time we was all yelling that he was the greatest at
Mm-hmm.
one point, and he had the crown. And I don't even necessarily think he wanted the crown. You know what I mean? Um, that was just a genuine human being right there. You know what I mean? So if I mean to say he's the one of the best artists of all time, that's down here to me. Up here, he's one of the best human beings we've ever had. One of the
Mm-hmm.
most down to earth. You
Mm.
know what I mean? So I don't think they understand that. I think they just worried about the music. They don't understand the most popular thing about DMX is all these crazy stories that
Mm-hmm.
people have about him popping up at laundromats
Yeah.
randomly. You know what I mean? And things like that. The same thing they used to say about Pac. Pac could be out here with all these celebrities, but then you'll catch him in a dirty house party somewhere randomly. You know what I mean? And that's why I say we need cats like DMX, Pac, Nip, Big. You know what I mean? It's a reason why I only say those type of cats. Notice I ain't mentioned none of the cats that were still alive. Nothing against them, but when we lose somebody like that, we know it hurts for a different type of reason. You know
Mm-hmm.
what I mean? So, and that's no disrespect to the Jays and the Nas. And I look at Nas like, man, that'd be a cool ass uncle. DMX would be a cool ass uncle. Snoop, cool ass uncle. You know what I mean? So, I don't put no stock into what these young cats saying. They don't know what's going on.
Yeah.
Well, what's crazy is you just put a bow around everything we just said and
Yeah.
don't even know it.
Yep. Yep. Pretty
So
much.
thank you,
And
Baylor.
that's it. Let's move into the next one. And you know, unfortunately, and we'll get into it. So a day or so after DMX passed, we get pictures and Black Rob in the hospital. And he's actually homeless after getting out the hospital. And this can kind of go back to a conversation that we had a few episodes ago. Is that why is there nothing for rappers after their career? But what do you guys make of like Black Rob situation? Where he is, Marquis? I'll come to you first on this one.
Um, it's fucked up. I think they should do something like I believe they were talking about a hip hop union,
Yeah.
right? They were basically going to take care of their people and everything. I think that's what should happen. I'll do a quick story, and I know I think I told you all about it. I did interview him in 2018. I was working on this project called The Rise, and we identified people in Patterson. I was partnering with somebody. We identified people in Patterson that were actually giving back to the community, basically. And what we would do is get on a stage. We actually had a little money from Rutgers University to do this. We had time, studio, and everything. We had a person editing the videos. So we were interviewing a bunch of people on the panel. So one of the people that we spoke to actually was a stripper, a former stripper. Then she ended up managing and owning the strip club. So we kind of interviewed her. She was introducing some artists. One of the artists we also was from Patterson. She's you know, a little heavy, but she had some mad skill. And she was opening for Black Rob and Keith Murray. So we had a chance to interview Keith Murray and Black Rob. And Black Rob in the corner, just chilling and everything, right? Just listening. And, you know, we're talking about, just asking, you know, what you up to now? I think he had that song he was working on. He's about to work on a new album. And I'm like, you know, what do you think of this era of hip hop? You know, everybody's complaining about how young they are, you know, how they don't listen and blah, blah, blah. He's like, you know what? We were just like that. We didn't listen either. And we did what we wanted to do. So we just basically, they're us. They're learning from knuckleheads and do whatever they want to do with the culture and everything. But you cannot knock it. This is the direction it's going to go in. Either you're going to rock with it or you're not. And I was like, you know what? I respect that. So it was cool. He was just a cool dude. He was with his people. He had his black and mild in his ear, had his white hat on, his jacket and everything sitting in the corner. And to think the man is homeless, Diddy, where you at? Even Mark Cuban went back for what's his name from Cleveland?
Delonte West.
Devontae. You see what I'm saying? Like, he literally went there to get. Where you at, Diddy? I hear too many stories of artists just fading away or thrown away. I guarantee you, if he was a Master P artist, that wouldn't happen.
We could have a whole episode on Diddy's dirty dealings with his artists. Like, let's just be honest on that, because there's a pattern there of bad boy artists, and where or the lack thereof of care that happens to them in the longevity of their career. But that's a story for another day. Baylor, what do you think about Black Rob's situation?
It's just exact what Marquise was saying. I was actually thinking about it on the freeway on the way here. I'm like, yo, Mark Cuban did go snatch up Delonte West after a few videos surfaced the internet, and went to go snatch him up. We hear Noriega talk about it on Drink Champs all the time, but it's just talks, you know what I mean? And I feel like it's like they're waiting on a record label or a company to come in and be the backing of this union that they want. When in fact, I mean, y'all just brought up Diddy, and I wanted to be the first one to say, yo, bro, where you at? But then again, like, I'm not about to be in Diddy pockets. You know what I mean? We already know, we're smart enough to know that when it comes to the people that we grew up listening to, and the quote unquote people that we, I guess, somewhat worship, the Jays and the Diddies and stuff like that, you know, they have enough money, not even enough power, but they have enough money to put some shit together. Matter of fact, forget the money, they got enough influence to get things kicked up. You know what I mean? But the fact that it's 2021 and it hasn't happened yet, you know what I mean? That says a lot about his peers. And it was sad to see, especially after we just lost X. You know what I mean? So they definitely need a union, but, you know, I mean, it just shows that, you know, some of these artists was just paychecks for the moment, you know. And again, we don't know what he was dealing with the time that he was gone. I mean, because no details have come out, you know, but I'm pretty sure the people that he was rocking with in the past know.
For sure. For sure. It's just a sucky situation, Mary.
I mean, there's not much to say that hasn't just been said. I mean, I just feel like it really is a damn shame, considering that Black Rob saved Bad Boy in 2000, like, for real. So I don't know. I mean, and there's a lot of lessons here, right? Like, yes. I mean, obviously, it's like, you as an artist, it's just a business, like you said, it's a paycheck, right? But then these artists also need to have some kind of money management. Like, the first thing that they should, or again, if there was a union or someone who actually cared, I think that the first person an artist should be paired with when they get put on is a financial advisor, so that they don't end up broke in 20 years, you know? But seeing him look sickly like that, I mean, I literally was, and I mean, I think that the theme of tonight's show is like old shit. And I was definitely like squinting, like, who is that? Is that Black Rob? Like, he looked like Black Rob in the future. Like, I don't know. It was really scary to see him like that. Not only did he look sickly, but he looked like he aged like 50 years from Marquis the 3 years ago that you interviewed him. Like, So that really hurt my heart to see him like that. And I just hope that somebody helps him. I mean, I know there's a GoFundMe around. I'm not sure how legit it is, but
And that's the thing that needs to change. With now, we're at the place where the artists are more empowered than ever. When Black Rob and everybody was coming up, that's still when the record labels were in charge. They didn't give a damn about teaching their artists financial literacy. They cared about their artists being big while they were, so they can make them dollars and then find the next one. But now that we're at a place where the artists are empowered, the artists are the executives, hopefully we do reach a different place to where these artists now know more about the business to end the longevity of how to keep their money coming in, whether it's through owning their masters or their own publishing or whatever else it is, because that's what needs to change to avoid things like this happening. And so you can't expect a record company that's owned by an 80-year-old white man, and all he knows is that he cuts the checks and he has 1,000 A&Rs or whoever that do things for them to really be invested personally in each artist. But now artists are the owners now, and so hopefully this stuff starts changing. We don't see as much of this in the next 20 years.
mhm.
But this is our culture, though. This is not just hip hop, though. This is
It's true. You're
athletes,
right.
basketball players, football players. But it's us, though. It's
Yeah.
us. And then we don't find out until later on that I'm a kid watching these cats rapping these videos and playing in these games, not knowing that when they got put on, it's everybody know back in the day when you got a record deal, that was like hitting the lottery.
Mm-hmm.
You know
Hmm.
what I mean? If you made it to the NBA lottery pick, you know what I'm saying, that was major. You got to the NFL, that, but we don't know the contracts. You know what I'm saying? You don't know how much these cats is getting paid. They got agents they got to pay, agencies they got to pay. And nobody
Family.
sitting. Exactly. And we got that once we get on, we got to put everybody
Put
on. We got
everybody
to
on.
buy we got to buy mama the house and stuff like that. And they spending their royalty checks on cars, houses and jewelry. You know what I
And
mean? But
taxes.
this is what we was groomed into. This was what we was pushed to. And here we are.
Hmm.
Yeah. And Marquis mentioned taxes like hell, and a lot of times they're not even paying that.
I was just
And
gonna
then that
say
goes
we're
back
not
to bite
paying
them in the
taxes.
ass. So yeah,
Hmm.
but and to segue and not to make light of it, but one thing you can't pay your taxes with is Usher bucks, and apparently Usher decided to try to throw his money on strippers. So this is just to add some levity. Like what the fuck was Usher thinking? What the fuck was he thinking, Marquis? I'm
I,
coming to you
I heard
because
the
I
greatest
feel like this
meme.
is something you would do.
That's two. That's two. Nice. I heard the greatest. What was it? He figured he'd throw fake money because they throwing fake ass at him.
Okay. Mm,
Mm.
mm, okay.
So I've
I'm
been
surprised
seeing.
we're still hearing about Usher.
I thought it was part of a rollout though.
I was just about to say I've been seeing conflicting reports about this story, so I don't even want to go too far down the rabbit hole.
I
I don't
mean,
know
it's
what to believe
still
anymore.
it's still fraud, but I thought it was part of a rollout. And shout out to at Jelly Warbucks. She's a part of the lunch break on Clubhouse. She actually came up with the Us Bucks term.
Wow.
So, but she had got she there's a conspiracy that Usher got her suspended on Twitter. So
Was
we
he who
don't know.
got you suspended from Twitter
Yeah.
too?
Nah,
Ush money.
that was 1,000% Twitter just being an asshole. But
He paid
Usher.
yo,
him
when
Ush
I
money.
yo, I mean, we need this rollout to roll out because it's not looking good right now for Usher. But
It hasn't
yeah,
looked
that's
good for
crazy.
Usher in quite a while, so that's not even
I mean,
shocking.
Monopoly money got more value than that.
That's true. That is true. That is true. Um,
Crypto.
but
Cryptocurrency.
let's not. Another thing. Kid Cudi decided to wear a dress on SNL to mimic Kurt Cobain, which a lot of people didn't even know that that's what he was doing. So, Marquis, like, what do you think about this tribute that Kid Cudi did?
I'll say one of two things. It's sad that people didn't know or recognize Kurt Cobain.
Mm-hmm.
That's a great tribute. I wonder how people felt about that though. After they found out, did someone say, "Well, who the fuck is Kurt Cobain?" Or, what happened after that? That's sad, right?
And that's funny.
I respect
The
him for doing it.
when I first saw the image, I knew exactly what he was doing. And this goes back to what we were saying before. They don't have any respect for the generation that came before them. But go ahead. I'm sorry to cut you off.
Well, we had a lot of
No, you're
old
absolutely right.
heads too. So
Oh my
Well, I
God.
mean, dare I say,
Really,
the
really
black
quick,
people
really
of
quick.
rock conversation
Yeah.
is
It's
definitely.
more prevalent than ever.
Yeah.
Absolutely. It's, oh my God. Kurt Cobain, they created a whole genre because of him. You understand what I'm saying? Like, think about that. There's a whole genre created because of this dude.
Oh
It may
yeah.
have been created before him, but he basically made it his, and they named it after him. There's got to be, again, hip hop is dominating everything, and I don't want to take away from hip hop. I don't know. We don't that feeling of soul, just soul in music. And this was my problem from the discussion we had last week with Earth, Wind, and Fire and Ozzy Brothers. There's not a appreciation for true art and music, and now it hurts my heart that people don't recognize this. It's like, all right, we just see, but they will recognize Satan sneakers. You get what I'm saying? Like that's a thing for them. It's sad. It really is sad.
Well, what hurts my heart even more is that people don't recognize or have an awareness of Kurt Cobain, but they'll rock those Nirvana T-shirts from Forever
Mm,
21. Like,
mm,
so it's very, again, there's a lack of awareness.
yeah.
That's what it
Taylor.
is.
I think the people that spoke against it are struggling with their conspiracies. And I too feel like, you know, the first thing that they brought up was that look at the agenda again. There's an agenda. Do I personally feel like there's an agenda? I do. Do I feel like Kid Cudi is a part of that agenda? I don't. You know what I mean? We just finished talking about two cats who definitely needs a hip hop union. He's the third one that needs to be a part of a union. You know what I mean? Because of what he's dealt with his personal life. I did not know about the I did not know about the dress. You know what I mean? But I didn't go online and say, look, there they go again. They're doing it. You know what I mean? What I did was wait. I waited and then I did some research. Not only did I do research, I had people send me pictures of Kurt Cobain in the dress. And I said, "Oh, okay." And and again, I've dressed up like LL Cool J before. I have. Chest out,
I'm
Mary.
pretty sure of that.
Rope chain, Mary. You know what I mean? Pants leg up, Mary. That's what I
Listen,
did.
I was
Kango,
wearing the pants
Kango.
leg up too.
I didn't get the Kango, but I will get the Kango in the future. But the thing is, it was a tribute to LL. You know what I
Mhm.
mean? So I can understand it. But again, like people is gonna have their, you know, people is gonna people.
Well,
So
I
People know
do want
people.
to note that this became a bit of a hot topic in our Facebook group, which y'all should be following if you're not already. And yeah, I mean, I have to say, I was surprised, impressed even by people who were catching themselves being like homophobic and
mm,
kind of literally like giving themselves therapy in their comments in the Facebook group. So it was beautiful to see that. Of course, we did have a few kind of homophobic,
That's to be expected.
type of feedback, right? I mean, but it was really like kind of something to see people like, well, my first instinct was to be homophobic, but then when I really understood what he was doing, I got it, and then felt bad and ashamed for being homophobic.
and
So,
the cool part about it is I don't listen to Kid Cudi like that at all. So I'm not caping for him. You know what I mean? I just don't think the way y'all think. It's not accurate to me. I seen it was a tribute, and that's it. Like, and y'all not checking for him anyway. Like,
mhm,
That is
that
true.
too.
that's the cold
That is
part
true.
about it. Like, if he didn't wear the dress, y'all still wouldn't have watched it, and y'all didn't watch it. Y'all just
They
waited for
just
the
saw the
clip to
clip.
come out.
Exactly. Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. But yeah, so that's it. I wanted to put those last two things on there to kind of bring some levity to it. Well, we are going to get into our new music section. We got two songs to talk. Well, one song because I refuse to call White Boy Summer a fucking song. But Sweetie, I can't say her name for shit. Slow clap. Who wants to take this
Sweetie,
one? Who wants to take this one away first?
I
Okay.
will because I'm so sad about it. First of all, it isn't Sweetie's song. It is Gwen Stefani's song. Sweetie's just featured.
Okay.
And so it's important to note that because honestly, I feel like Sweetie did the best she could with that material. It was definitely bad. Um, Even like Gwen Stefani's actually one of my favorite artists, even from when she was with No Doubt. How about that? But this was just beneath her too. Um, I yeah, I there's not too much else to say about it, but they could do better. How about that? But it's good to see them, and they both look
I,
fabulous, so we'll give them
I know
that.
Mary always tries to pull something pop. This shit was fucking trash. It was terrible. I don't want to hear it again. The video, like, you got a song called Slow Clap. The video needs to be nothing but cheekage the whole time. Gwen Stefani
And it better be cheekish in slow
used to
motion.
shake her ass better than most video vixens. Oh, this shit was everything, top to bottom, fucking terrible. There you go.
Well, she's skinny
She
now.
is.
It's just like
There isn't much ass
Well,
to
shake her
shake.
hips. I don't give a damn. Shakira
I
ain't
mean,
had
Saweetie was
Shakira
doing
ain't
a little
had ass in
shaking.
30
That's
years, and she
where.
still shakes something. Come on.
Shake her hips, he said. He said, shake her hips.
Marquis, I feel like you got something to say with this, bro.
nope. I'm not being a bad guy today. I'm good.
Baylor?
Nope.
Well, I'm not about to kick. I'm not. Look, I didn't finish the whole song. That's how bad it was to me. I don't care.
All right.
Yeah. I mean, for me,
I
Saweetie
don't.
is my daughter's favorite artist, and I actually enjoy her as well. And yeah, so we like were hyped for this. And I thought it was such a great opportunity to have like old school, new school collab, right? Gwen Stefani,
Mm-hmm.
Sweetie.
Burn, baby,
And
burn
Yeah.
at
it
this
was
joint.
just
Inferno.
Yeah.
like
I
we
thought.
both couldn't believe how bad it was. It was just
Yeah.
Terrible.
I thought that was like a dope. I thought it was a dope pairing. They just didn't have the song for it. That's all.
right.
And
Right.
look, and I know y'all. I know both of y'all listen to the show. I know y'all do. Let that shit simmer on TikTok first. TikTok will let you know if you got a hit or not.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah, this shit was fucking terrible. But moving on from bad to worse. Chet Hanks, White Boy Summer. What the fuck? First of all, the fact that
I'm gonna
he
tell you right now. I did not. I did not. I did
good,
not.
you shouldn't have. The fact that after he wanted to speak with a Jamaican accent, he didn't get canceled right then and there. I fucking the streets is dead. Like that's just it. Like and then you let this motherfucker come out with a song the week after he apparently his black girlfriend fucked his ass up. Like this white. Why? Why does this happen? But it's who wants to take this one away? Because I'm just gonna fucking complain, Marquis.
Nope. Not again.
Look,
Not the bullshit today.
I've dealt with a
I'm Black
level of
Ranger.
hypocrisy. I'm not going to. No, bro, we just lost X. No, I'm not about to listen to that shit. No, no. I'm not giving it no streams, no spins, no nothing, no rights, no ribs, nothing. B, you gets nothing. No.
Mary, I feel like
Yo,
this
I'm
was a topic you brought to us. You got to have more to say on this.
because I
Well, damn, you had to put me on blast. Okay, so here's the deal. Should Chet Hanks be doing this at all? No. However, I do feel like he, in his own way, is well intentioned, right? Like from the beginning, when he's like, yeah, I think it's going to be a white boy summer, but not like Trump supporting fuckboy white boys like me, John B., and, Jack Harlow. And then John B. hopped in and co signed it. Jack Harlow, I think, has yet to respond. Um, I understood what he meant by that, right? And then he basically came out after with all these little rules about what will constitute a white boy summer. And one of the first rules was you have to love black queens. So then he started the merch, right? And it obviously was white boy summer, but then it became black queen summer. Then it was like stop hate. And then it became like he had one for every ethnicity. So I think he tried to course correct with that and make it where like this is a message of love. And then he started a challenge where it was like every group should wear each, not their own t-shirt, but wear the others. So like the white boys wear Black Queen Summer, black girls wear white boy summer shirts. I don't know. I saw what he was trying to do, but kind of like Baylor just said, it's bad timing, especially with everything that's going on in the world. It's like you can't even put something out there that's going to be remotely misconstrued right now. Like we need to not do that. So I think he means well, I do, but I do think it's just bad timing, and I don't know. I just think I would have stayed away from that. Now, if we're talking about the song, the beat is sick. Everything else is leaves much to be desired. But
It starts off with black chicks scripting on cars. You understand
So-
this?
well, no, he has all different kinds of chicks actually twerking on everywhere.
What are we
But
doing?
people were ready to tear Jack Harlow ass for a black leg being in this album cover.
That's a fact.
Right. Right. That is true.
So
I don't know.
And he is well respected where he's
Chet
from.
Hanks a pass because he has a biracial daughter that he's always very proudly displaying. I don't know, but I will tell you this: black girls love him, love him. So
Jamaicans love him because they give him a pass. Yeah, the white man. No, I'm sorry. Somebody should tell his father. His father needs to step in.
now Tom Hanks can get
His
get
father needs to
invited to
step
the
in.
barbecue. Chet Hanks, no, you can't come to the barbecue.
So Tom Hanks is White Boy Summer, but not Chet
No,
Hanks.
there is no.
Is what you're saying?
Tom Hanks is white
I
boy.
refuse-
There's no white boy
There is
summer.
no white
No,
boy summer.
Tom Hanks.
There's not. I will smack the shit out of anybody who says that shit around me. Any white boy who tries to say it's white boy mother, I will smack the shit out of you. I'm letting anyone know right
Because we
now.
know what
This-
black
this-
boys in the
This
summer.
is
White boy
what it
summer.
is. This is what it
Black boys
is.
in the summer.
Because of
Shot
his
by
dad,
cops.
because of his dad's resume, but because of his fuck ups, Pops can't come to the barbecue, but I'll go take him a plate. Let's put it like that.
Oh, okay.
Your son fucked it up
So
for you.
so are you taking Michael Rappaport to plate as well?
That
No.
nigga, no, that
He's
nigga got
disinvited. For real.
Hey, he out of here.
And I forgot to put it
So
in
can
the
I
news list.
say,
Michael Rappaport officially is on site. If I ever see Michael Rappaport.
And you know what? It's not even because to me, him and KD straight weirdos. But it's the fact that I felt like you baited him in because KD is known to be emotional and to respond to shit that he shouldn't be responding to. And then you put his business out there. You gotta catch these hands. You have to catch these hands, and you cannot come on the block that we're throwing the barbecue on.
You
well,
didn't see the
so
post.
time out. Let's fast forward and tell the people about his latest shenanigans, right? Lately he's been wilding, right? And I think this brings a bigger conversation up that we probably don't have time for tonight, and maybe we should definitely think about giving it some thought and discussion later. But what is
It's like the black
allyship?
delegation.
Yes, the black delegation will have a meeting of the minds. But like, what is allyship? Does that really exist? Because I would have 10 years ago, even anybody would have considered Michael Rappaport an ally, right? Ever since his first movie, his introduction to us was this movie called Zebrahead. I don't know if everyone has watched it.
I remember Zebrahead.
All right. So he was a down ass white boy. See, he was White Boy Summer in that movie. I know Hayes wants to fight me.
But remember Higher Learning though.
Well, right, but even then, he in all of his interviews around Higher Learning, he talked about how he felt it was really important to play that role to shine a light on, the asshole skinhead culture and whatever. Like, he came out very much in support of black culture. Also, he was always really like down with the NBA, which we've agreed is kind of hand in hand with hip hop culture and definitely black culture. So, all of these things have kind of tricked us into thinking that he's on our side and he was an ally. And now lately, the things he's been posting are like in stark contrast to our mission here. And I'll just say most recently, right? He posted basically like a list of black on black crime that occurred in the past few days. and then was like, yeah, NBA, MLB, all of you sports organizations, are you going to cancel the games here? Because people are dying, blah, blah, blah. And basically alluding to, like, it's not just at the hands of police, but it just seems like people only care when it's the police. So
The internet.
Van Lathan called him out on Instagram and literally was like, look, gave a list of like how his behavior is peculiar and very contradictory to who we thought he was, and basically ended it with, you know, you don't have to speak on matters of a community that you do not belong to. You could just choose to keep it moving, and then we wouldn't be looking at you sideways right now. But instead, you're choosing to use your platform, which was largely built by the Black community, to now throw salt in our game and cause confusion. Like, so he actually replied to it and was like, I don't know, it was weird. It was like gaslighting because he was not kind of confirming or denying it, but then was like, yeah, you could just text me instead of,
That's
you know, going
public.
public.
Things you could just text. But I think so. This is brings the statement of you either die the hero or you live long enough to see yourself become the villain, and that happens with a lot of people who are white people. And fuck it, I don't give a fuck if I piss people off or not with this. A lot of white people who are welcomed into our culture, who we look at as allies, that shit eventually goes to their fucking head, and then they get too big for their fucking britches, start speaking on things that they don't need to speak on, and eventually put their foot in their mouth. Now, not to the level to where it always seems contradictory to being for the cause, but sometimes it's just like, you shouldn't have been the one to say that. And this is the inherent problem.
Drew Brees.
This is the inherent problem with inviting people to the barbecue, so to say, is that maybe instead of inviting people to the barbecue, let's take Baylor's statement. We can bring you a plate, but that plate has to continually be earned, because the moment you fuck up, you ain't getting shit.
Roseanne.
So, what was the I'm gonna quote this. I'm gonna fuck this up. What Limo said about Captain America. Everyone eventually forgets about the flaws, right? Everybody follow me. Everybody eventually focuses on the strengths and forgets about the flaws until they do shit like this. Look, there's lately, like you said, he's been picking a lot of fucking fights, and this is how they really think. Don't act like you know us when you haven't grown up with us. You aren't
Jerry
a part of
Jones. No, Jerry Jones is never for the cause. Let's not
slave
get that. Let's not get. Yeah, he's always been slave master. But I'm sorry. Continue.
I heard from a white person, they said there's people who are born white and people that just happen to be white. And the people that happen to be white are your allies, the ones who understand what the fuck is going on and like, yo, shit is fucked up. I'm here with you. I don't know what you've gone through. How can I help? The people that are white.
Logic.
Leave Logic the fuck
All
right,
stop.
That's my guy. Yo, y'all know that's my guy. That's my guy, man. Shout out to Logic.
Who recently came out of retirement too, but you know.
Yeah,
I gotta be honest with you. So this is gonna get deep right now, and I don't know how you feel about this, Hayes, but for those who don't know, Hayes and I both have white fathers and Black mothers, and I can still say I don't believe there are really allies because they can always cross over back to that other side when it suits them.
Does that go for Latinos as well?
Yes, of course.
Yeah. Just want to make sure we were on the
They're probably the biggest culprits. Don't forget, they voted for Trump down there. But anyway, yeah, I do feel that way.
See, I don't necessarily feel people can't truly be allies. I just think that I understand why you think that, so why you feel that way, and you are very valid in feeling that. I'm not saying this in contrary to what you say. I'm just giving my opinion on it. Is that I think people can truly be allies, but I think that to do that you have to realize that as much as you're out here defending Black people and defending justice and all of that, you still get to go home and you can take that off and you still are white. We can't take this shit off.
Exactly. That's exactly the point. I mean, I don't know. I gotta tell you though, to me, a perfect case in point was in that movie, The Bronx Tale, right? When Colodro was pushed, he, without even consciously being aware of it, was like, you fucking niggers. Like, even though he thought Jane was fly as fuck and, you know, clearly did have feelings for her and was clearly trying to help them in their moment of need, but there is like this ingrained kind of racism towards black people that I feel like everyone who is not black kind of has.
Sort of like people we know who post things on Facebook, make comments on. I'm moving on.
You,
No, I'm like, wait, who?
you dirty bastard, because I know exactly what you're talking about and who you're talking about.
I don't.
And once Mary realizes who you're talking about, she's gonna kick your fucking ass. Oh man.
Who is it?
I
don't know.
Mary, what were we talking about before we started recording?
Oh, I think I know who it is. Anyway, we'll talk after. Sorry for keeping.
That's a family meeting. We'll have that meeting after. But so that's it on that. Let's get into the segment that we actually, unfortunately, we skipped last week. My bad, Marquis. I realized that in post editing. I'm like, damn, I just shit all over my brother's segment. Black People Like Rock 2, presented by the one and only Marquis. Go ahead, bro.
Oh, sorry, I had to do some, because we have to be respectful for Asians and everything. So, want to put that out there.
Edit that out.
Oh, Jesus.
No, seriously, we got to take care of our people. Anyway, so.
Did you forget we air live
Black people
now,
like
Marquis?
rock too.
Did you forget that we air live now?
Oh, no. We're live.
I love the Asian culture.
Stop.
Wu-Tang forever.
Please
Just
stop. We don't want anything to do with this.
Black people like rock too. Black people like rock too. What do you have for us?
Okay, so to the last verses, and I'm looking forward to 420. After listening to the last verses, when we basically heard music, my question to everyone is, when it comes to rock music, is it dead? Is rock music dead? Because I look at the charts and we see hip hop all over the place. We see certain artists and they drop off fast. But some of the artists, some albums that came out in the past 2 years, and Bailey, you sent one, The Slow Rush, Father of All Motherfuckers, Green Day, Bruce Springsteen came out, Pearl Jam, AC/DC, The Killers, Deftones. Like, they're massive albums that came out and no one knows this. So, is it dead? Is rock just
It
might be on life support.
Or we just been paying attention to hip hop and R&B too much.
No,
Fiona Apple.
It's a lot like what we talk about with real hip hop, with lyricism in hip hop, with those artists that harp it back. It's not dead. You just have to look harder for it sometimes. And I think the same thing applies to rock music. Like, music in general is in such a transition part where the new generation is taking it over and making a whole new spin on it that doesn't feel much like what's familiar to us. But it's not dead. It's there. You just have to look harder for
it. Okay, so
do we know what any streaming numbers are for this thing?
If we get canceled, I swear to God.
What did I? Oh man!
Got him. Sorry.
Keep going, Mary. I'm sorry.
Streaming numbers? I don't know. Manson came out. He had top 20 and then dropped, but he got his own issues. So, I think your boy Machine Gun Kelly came out with a punk album. Kind of went out right away.
That did numbers though, didn't it?
It died fast. And Sir Paul McCartney came out with an album.
Nobody's checking for Paul McCartney. They should be. I'm not saying they shouldn't be. They should be, but nobody's checking for Paul McCartney right now.
Okay, I get what you're saying as far as looking for it, but what would people be looking for? If you're looking for hip hop, you listen to the Baby and everything that's coming out, Jack Harlow, which is actual good hip hop. There's a lot of good rock out there. Foo Fighters just came out with an album. They just got inducted. Did they get inducted yet? But they just got selected to be in the Hall of Fame, the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. Nobody giving shit. Their album came out a month ago. Evanescence just came out. I mean, but still. Yeah.
I like Evanescence.
But when's the last time you heard about them? But there was no build up or anything for that. That's all I'm saying.
So
I don't know.
I will say this. I don't think rock has evolved in the sense that hip hop has. We may not exactly like where hip hop has gone, but at least it's still around in some form. Yeah, I don't feel like
I can say this.
done the same.
And I can say this: I think it's become so easy to make an album so fast. You don't have to worry about instruments. You can make your own beats and everything, and you can put up a
That's
clip,
a good point
get
too.
famous on TikTok. You don't have to learn an instrument anymore.
Right. That's true.
And they not making those corny ass teenage movies anymore. That all those songs used to be attached to that I love watching.
Scream.
That, what was that shit called? I forgot. Early 2000s.
Got you. But yeah, that's with Black people like love rock too. If you guys have any suggestions for any rock albums that we should listen to, because maybe I missed something, please share.
So to just you say on Machine Gun Kelly's first, it was the first rock album in over a year to top the Billboard Top 100, and it also was certified platinum.
What place did it come in?
Huh?
Wow.
So I mean,
really?
Yeah. I mean, and that's the thing. I understand that like often when we don't hear about stuff, it's easy to think that it came and went. But I really think with the way people consume music now, they consumed it. A lot of people did, and they moved the fuck on. But it made its. I mean, certified platinum and number one, the first rock album to be number one in the Billboard Top 100 in over a year.
Well,
go ahead.
So
he did transition from a hip hop artist to a rock artist. Had beef with Eminem, and was also on D's label. So there was a buzz.
But no, because this album sold over 100,000 more copies than Hotel Diablo did in its first week.
He was also on a soundtrack too. One of his songs was on a soundtrack, a movie or something.
Movie on with Jamie Foxx.
Yeah, so he already had a buzz. So it was already there, set for him.
I don't think he had as much of a buzz after the Eminem beef as people think he did. Because his first album after that did.
I don't think people cared about.
First album after that did shit.
That was a rush though. That shit was horrible. That shit came out like it was like what 6 songs with the Diddy.
Well,
that was bullshit.
I mean the Hotel
that was just to get off the buzz.
Yeah, I get what you're saying.
Yeah.
He went platinum and niggas is not checking for him. So
on the rock album because
man lie, women lie, numbers don't, but you still try.
Which is still, I still can't believe people said Kill Shot was whack. I don't even think they listened to the lyrics, but that's a story.
I don't understand that.
Bro,
I almost would have.
I gotta learn when to stop us because we will go down that rabbit hole and be talking about that for 20 minutes. So let's get into.
Did he admit he put the hit out that got pot killed?
let's get into the TV and film section. Snowfall. This was the episode of why Franklin is the baddest motherfucker on the planet in that universe. The fact that you saw when he got that phone call that he put it together that girl was playing both sides, and you could, and this is why I wanted to see him cast as the new Black Panther, because his non-verbal acting is some of the best that I have seen, period. All the thoughts and emotions that went through his mind when he hung up that phone were conveyed in his body language, his facial reactions, and the way that he looked at her when she said his name. He didn't have to say a line. We didn't have to get a period of, I think she's not loyal. Like, none of that. We knew exactly what his whole thought process was that went through that and made the whole fucking episode. I know, just jump head first into it. Mary, Snowfall. We always come to you first on Snowfall for the recap. Go with it.
No, I mean, I think you just really said it, right? Like, and it's funny because in last week's episode, which we recorded probably as Snowfall was airing, right? Like, so we hadn't seen it yet. I think, Baylor, it was you that was like, yeah, I don't trust this girl. And we were like, yeah, she's an op. Like, so it's weird. That was one of our predictions that actually did come to fruition. Yeah, I'm kind of wondering, outside of that situation, I'm curious if they're going to show us killing her. One thing I want to note is show him killing her. Snowfall is getting gory. Like, the whole Fatback getting murdered scene, I was kind of like, eh. Yeah. Like, it's starting to feel Shonda Rhimes-ish with how they're, like, showing the actual goriness. So outside of that, I'm kind of curious about what becomes of Franklin's dad and his mom, because you can tell that his mom is kind of considering taking the dad up on that offer of running away to Cuba. Honestly, I feel like if Franklin knew what was good for him, he'd probably be planning to do something similar soon. Because, and we've said this before, right? There's like 2 ways out of this. So, yeah, I think that What happened to Wanda? Like, is she still clean? Like, I'm hoping so. And I don't know. I still feel like, and I love Leon. He's one of my favorite characters, honestly. And I feel like we've seen his growth as an actor so much in this show. Sorry. However, I feel like there's no way that you do all the dirt that he's done accidentally and intentionally, and then you just walk around scot-free. And it's funny because right before we hopped on, the actor that plays Leon, Isaiah John, was on a live with Damson Idris. And then when Damson hopped off, Isaiah's siblings hopped on, and honestly, they're hilarious and they need their own YouTube channel or something. But everyone in the chat was like, "Does Leon die tonight?" So I think everyone kind of feels the same thing. It's like, it's a little unrealistic to really think that he's just getting away with all this. And then lastly, and obviously the biggest kind of, I think, lingering question is Louie. What's going to happen with her, right? Like, it seems like she's going to make it. She's stable. And I got to tell you, I didn't see that twist coming at all. Like, I didn't think she would be killed. Well, shot anyway. But I do think this is now setting Jam and Jerome off into a dark place. And I don't know. My prediction is that Man-Boy is about to get got tonight, even though I'm going to miss him. But
Man-Boy is a good character, isn't he?
He is a good character.
He is.
But we need Jerome more.
So, if
So
Man-Boy gets
That's a
got
fact.
tonight, somebody has to go down with him. Is Jerome also going to die?
No, man,
Maybe
man,
Scully.
shit.
Okay.
No, you can't take both of them out.
I wouldn't be surprised, bro. But go ahead, Baylor.
The reason why I say you can't take both of them out because one of them is going to keep the gang wars going. You know what I mean? And
all right, maybe problematic baby mama. Because she needs to go. Actually.
That's true, and that's true. But that's why I say I somewhat disagree that Leon is walking around scot-free because every chance they get, they try to take him out. And the thing is, he's one of my favorite characters too. But the reason why I said he gotta go is because it's universal that if you take one of mine, I have to take one of yours if I can't get you. And they've been trying to get him. They even set up a meeting like, yo, we need that. But if he doesn't go down, you're going to see more and more people on Franklin's side get hurt. That's a fact. That's just how it goes.
I agree.
You know what I mean? When, and I hate to bring this back up. No, I'm not going to do that. But yeah.
All right.
Okay.
Marquis?
Well, baby mama, though, must be stopped because she's really causing all the...
more reckless. More and more reckless.
Yeah.
Look, watch this, though. As she should.
Right, I guess.
As she should.
As she should not have been with her child
That
with
too.
a bunch of gangbangers. How about that?
That too.
I was surprised that Reed kind of just came back on the scene and was like, I told you I'd be with you till the end, Franklin. And it was like...
I was going to bring that up. Yeah.
Hey.
Right? Like...
Reed is the physical headache that I be having. Like, he just looks stressed out all the time. You know what I mean? Like, yeah, he got to get it. He need a new profession. He need to work at, like, Best Buy or something like that because this CIA shit not working out for him. Like, golly, it's not enough edibles to get over the shit that he dealing with.
Yeah. I thought he was going to be more pissed, though, about the reporter situation and Franklin's dad snitching. I mean...
Franklin's dad got...
I'm so mad. I'm so mad at his dad, bro. And you being a black man...
But you know what? I mean, that is a testament to the storytelling of this show, right? And much to your point before, Hayes, a lot of it is visual and not even spoken, right? And I think that when he started seeing how the community was dying at the hands of what Franklin is selling, it made him feel like, I can't just sit here and watch this. Like...
I totally understand that. And I'm with him, actually with that. You still got to go to your son first.
Yeah, I agree.
You still got to go to him first.
Listen, snitches get stitches and wind up in ditches in my book. So I would have never snitched no matter what. But
look at Mary with the bars.
Beat.
She be dropping them. Sorry, guys.
Go ahead.
I got two things to say. I'm going to make mine quick. Yeah, that ominous smile. Oh, that's so eerie, and I love that. So I got a third option for you, Mary. One thing that could happen with our main character. What happens if he ends up in the CIA?
Yeah.
Could happen. Could happen.
I don't know. I feel like I don't know if y'all saw White Boy Rick, but that doesn't.
Oh, thank you, Mary. This is why
Here's
you're
why.
probably my doppelganger. I was
Right?
just thinking about White
Oh my
Warrior Rick.
God,
They're gonna do him the
that's
same
weird.
way.
Yeah.
Here's why. Here's why. There was foreshadowing in season 2, the last episode, where he was in class to go end up in the CIA. That little alternate universe
Right.
where he met Teddy.
Yeah.
That's where I think that's going.
That is true.
Foreshadowing. That's what I
That's a
think
good
that
point.
episode was for. I think that's how it's going to end.
I mean, if this were based in real life, then no. And I mean, for those
No,
who haven't
not
seen
at
White Boy Rick, they didn't give him that deal, and Homeboy just got out of jail now, like 30 years later. So
Yeah.
after he
Was he
helped
ups-
them and was an informant and all that. So
We might have to let White Boy Rick in the picnic because he might shoot that bitch up. So
we'll
gonna-
trade him for Michael
Yeah.
Rappaport.
yeah. We'll let. Hey, yo, and he did heavy time too, and he got a black daughter. So
This is true.
We're not gonna do that. It's because a lot of people have black daughters.
No, he got a black daughter and he'll shoot.
He's talking about Chet Hanks.
Oh no, we ain't. Yeah, we ain't.
Woo. All right.
No, and why you bringing John B in this? John B been with us. Leave him alone.
John B is having White Boy Summer.
John B is in the barbecue invite Hall of Fame.
John B was so good. Like I'll be like, you know what? He light skinned today. He light skinned today.
All right, but that's it for Snowfall. The next thing that we have in this section is a trailer that I wanted you guys to watch. This is for a film called Monster. It's based off the novel Monsters. Actually, was originally a film called All Rise. It actually was released in 2018, but it's getting a re-release to the masses at this point. Did you guys get a chance to watch the trailer?
Yeah.
I'll watch it.
All right. Who wants to take this one away first?
I ain't gonna do
Shout out
that.
to
Do the
Nas.
same thing that shout out to Nas though. Shout out to Nas.
Might have just made another $100 million today, but go ahead.
I just finished watching Them on Amazon Prime.
Mhm.
How is it?
All is good to me.
That's just terrible.
People gonna find ways to pick it apart, but it was solid. This is gonna be another film that just pissed me off, just like Them.
Mm-hmm.
That's all.
That's exactly the impression I got too. And can I tell you, I don't like scary things, right? So Them has been intriguing to me. But then my daughter actually showed me a video that someone made where they were like, Them is like, do not watch. Like, there was a scene where the woman is being raped. I mean, I don't think this is a spoiler, but and then her baby, basically like white people put her baby in like a knapsack and basically like beat it until it starts bleeding from the brain. And like, I'm sorry, that kind of shit is triggering for me. Like, I'm not watching that. So Them is
Thank
not
you.
on my
I'm
list.
definitely not watching
Thank
it.
you,
definitely
Mary.
triggering.
Yeah.
I'm not watching it.
Thank you, Mary, for just thank you.
That's
for
done it for me. I'm good.
Yeah.
As far as Monster,
Soundtrack seems dope though. The Aretha clip.
Leave it up to us. That
Look at you to
soundtrack
find a gem out
fire.
of. Look at you to find a gem. Always looking at the bright spot, all right?
I
It's
guess
triggering.
I didn't even know it, but
PTSD flared up. Panic attacks.
You know what?
That soundtrack fire.
After she shuts down Starbucks, here's a latte. Some whipped cream. Got it.
I'd rather enjoy a skinny vanilla latte after threatening everyone in Starbucks. Anyway.
Did I get your name right? Name going there? Okay. Go ahead. Take it away, Hayes. Take it away.
I don't even know. Like this was, I thought this was going to be a beautiful moment for us to talk about this trailer, and somehow Mary has got a new nickname, Skinny Vanilla Latte. That is Mary's new The Breaks Radio nickname. Y'all check out the trailer for Monster. I don't know what's going on with my people. Somehow we went from
I feel
Monster
like that's racist.
to
Skinny vanilla
it
latte.
is absolutely racist. That is absolutely how I meant it. Um,
I did want to see if Nas' character in this movie is the same one in Belly. If it is, I'm gonna be pissed off.
I'm
He's
going
gonna be
back to Africa.
sincere.
T.
Yeah.
I got shot in the
y'all
leg.
check the
I'm
damn
going
T,
back to
trailer
I'm
out.
Africa. Uh-huh.
I'm trying to move to Jamaica. Start over. Nah, just me and you.
Oh, I hate all of you bastards. I hate you guys with every fiber of my being.
I'm too cool to be upset,
Oh
man.
man.
Pass me the
Okay.
blicky.
So that's it for that. We have our last topic for today, and that is the announcement of our. It's officially we'll be kicking it off next week. We were gonna kick it off this week, but everybody got their shit to me late. Thanks, Mary. But it's
Ah,
the Sweet 16 diss track brackets. We got all of. So we're gonna announce the number one seeds. I'll release the bracket sometime between this and the next episode, and then we'll vote on the first round next week. But at least our number one seeds. And I don't know if anybody's going to be pissed off by these ones. But taking all of our number one seeds into consideration, Ether was the easy number one seed. Hit 'em
mhm,
up is also number one seed. No Vaseline is
Hmm.
also number one seed. That was almost universal. This fourth
Absolutely.
one is
mhm.
the one that it was either going to be Takeover or Lost Ones, and Lost Ones won. So Lost One is also a number one seed.
Lost ones went over takeover. Oh yeah, we really about to piss some folks
So
off. That's
so
okay.
those are the number one
Really?
seeds.
Who?
Other,
Yeah, hey, yo, really, it's gonna be Jay Z fans to tell you the
hell
truth,
yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
because they
Yeah.
niggas be hey they fight amongst each other so much.
Yeah, Jay Z fans are really funny people. Like it's just interesting when Jay Z like. Let me not say Jay Z fans because I'm a Jay Z
I
fan,
personally feel
but
like,
Jay Z fanatics when they get involved in shit, it's a fucking hot ass
and the
mess.
only reason why I said that they will argue over this is because when I bring up Ether and touches somebody, they get a little offended. They bring up Takeover to counter Ether. They never
That's not
bring
a
up
counter.
They never bring up Lost One.
But that's
Well,
there's no
right,
comeback to
but
Lost Ones.
right. I was gonna say technically though, ethered the takeover, like that one.
Hey,
But see,
look, Mary, I'm with you. I'm on the same.
in some people's opinions, some people think Takeover is a better disc than Ether. That conversation has
Yeah.
been had. And I'm not saying I do.
Like you said, some
Some
people,
people,
but
yes.
most people no, because those are Jay Z fans.
We know that Ethered. You know what I mean? But they bring
Like
up Takeover all the time.
it was
Now
so bad that there was a sheather. You understand what I'm saying? Like, yo,
the
you
intro.
use it in a sentence. You use it in a sentence. Yo, don't make me ether you. That's how bad shit is. You understand?
Hey, I'm not gonna
Marky is
lie.
like a
I
talking Urban Dictionary right now.
Ether needs to belong to Nas. He should own that word because I didn't know about it
Sell
before
an
he did.
NFT of it.
NFT. Yeah. Marquis's
Nas,
brain is
hit us
already
up.
turning.
You already know.
I saw that.
Nas, hit me up, bro. We can work this out. We got Coinbase.
But
I know the valuation
this
is
is one
there,
of the
bro. Come
brackets that
on.
I'm really excited for because and I don't know if over the next week we need to find a criteria about what we're going to judge them on, but it's just going to be an interesting conversation. I could see most of these being disagreements, but it's going to be fun, and I really can't wait to bring you
We
guys
got
the
it.
show.
We got to come up with a criteria because I already know where the Jay Z fans is going to go. I know
Oh my
exactly where they're
god.
going to go.
And the
I
sad
just
part
want to
about
say
this,
I am also a Jay-Z fan. If Nas is not a part of the conversation, so I don't think I will not tolerate Jay-Z fan slander.
Well, that's what we did.
so
Jay Z stands are
Respectfully.
different. Go ahead.
here's the problem though. You got to realize the who's going to be voting on this aren't going to recognize or appreciate no Vaseline.
Oh, we
Um,
are already. I seen that
No,
before we even came up
and
with
the
the
bridge is
topic.
and the
over.
reason why
And the bridge is over.
Nah,
the reason why I say I disagree with that is because part of the people that are going to be voting are the people that which we haven't promoted. The Breaks Radio has a Facebook group. Go and check it out. But the people in our Facebook group, I think, are absolutely going to appreciate those tracks that you just mentioned.
Okay.
Yeah,
Okay.
I think so too. I'm excited to see the feedback.
hey, there's we'll talk about it.
I'm
Let's talk
actually
about
more
it.
hyped for when we get to the later brackets because that's when the true
Yeah.
hip hop heads will prevail.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Oh,
Everybody
hey,
knows Ether
we
and
we got to come up with the criteria. We have to,
Okay, so
because it's a lot.
and so we may refine this more outside, but just to have this conversation on the podcast so people can at least know where our heads at once we do announce the criteria next week with the first round. Uh, Lyricism has to be a part of it. Shock
of
value.
course. Yes.
Hmm.
Um, how much do you guys think the response to the diss track matters in the criteria? Because
It matters.
to me, like with Ether, I mean, yeah, Jay Z responded with Super Ugly, but there's no fucking responding to an Ether.
And there's another song. There was another song he dropped that no one can find.
See, nobody gives a fuck. Like,
Because he buried it.
like
No, there was a second song. If you there was no one can find this song. There was a second
a
song he
second
did.
song from
It
who?
was a
From Jay?
game. It was a.
Yeah. There's a second song right around Super Ugly. He dropped two songs, but no one can find that. Look that up. I promise you.
Oh yeah, that is true. Yeah, 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 yeah. He's right. He's right.
Okay, okay.
He's right.
And
That's how bad Ether
I
was.
love that Baylor put on here. I don't know if it's gonna make the final 16, but 300 bars and running.
Mm.
Hey, and let me tell you the only reason why, and that took out. I had bomb first right there. I
Mm.
had bomb first right there, but I took it off.
So we'll get into this next week. I'm really excited for this conversation. We'll figure out the criteria, announce that with the first round. Be on the lookout for that. But that is it for this episode of the Breaks Radio. Go and give me your social media. Any parting words, Miss Mary Almonte, take it away.
Well, you just said my social media handle at Miss Mary Almonte on all social platforms, and follow at Young Urban Moms and Just Spice with a Y TV show to hear me talk my shit further. And my parting words are: teach your kids about hip hop, people, so we won't have this ungrateful, uneducated, unaware generation that we seem to be stuck with right now.
All
Yes, it is.
right. Baylor.
At Baylorism on Twitter, at Baylor the Great on everything else, and my parting words is, uh, it was a dad joke. I'm not gonna do it though.
You gotta do it. You can't
I'm
do
not gonna
that.
do it. I'm not gonna do it. I put it
Oh.
on. I put it on Twitter anyway. I didn't think nobody liked it.
Mm.
So just say it now. Come on.
You're not going to take me to jail for a piece of salt and a battery.
Right, I saw that, and
Let
I didn't get it.
Listen to him
Assault
say
and
it. Say it
assault
battery.
and
out loud.
battery.
Assault and
Assault
battery.
and battery. Got it. That was cute. Good job, Bailey.
Boom, boom.
Marquis.
So just to put it out there on OK Player, there was something that basically Jay Z accepted his loss to Nas during Takeover versus Ether feud. So for all you Jay Z fans, Jay Z did put it out there that he accepted that L. Just wanted to make sure that we were clear.
I can't.
I will not. Empire Media Group, don't hit me up, please. I don't need the overwhelming response. I'm tired of staying out of my DMs. I don't need to see your pics. None of that. Go ahead.
You can follow me at CEO Hayes, the CEO Haize. If I have any parting words, it will be watch who the fuck you invite to the barbecue. You can follow us collectively at The Breaks Radio. You can send us any feedback, questions, comments, concerns, thebreaksradio@gmail.com. If you want to leave us a voicemail, you can do so at 614-547-2039. We are the number one hip hop podcast around, period, point blank. And this week, we out. Peace.
Leave that Doja alone.